tonight on Ctv3 News. BSI-ASR concedes that this year's 2023-2024 crop season did not earn a sweet wrap-up. Attorney O.J. Elington committed to stand trial at the High Court for rape. And Joseph Brian Budna is charged with abetment to murder in relation to the 2021 fatal stabbing of Armando Coy Cacao. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, July 26, 2024.
Choose a side.
We fight for our queen!
Declare for the Greens or for the Blacks.
Hold to your courage for the one true King Aegon!
Driven by family feuds, the Targaryen civil war in House of the Dragon is split between Greens aligned with Alicent and Aegon at Section, and Blacks who support Rhaenyra in claiming the Iron Throne.
War is coming. And neither of us may win.
Pledge your allegiance. Watch House of Dragons Season 2 on Max.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. A man in Orange Walk who was caught on camera pushing a little girl is tonight in police custody and is expected to be charged soon. We understand that right after the video popped up on social media, police launched an investigation which led to the home and to the detention of the individual. We are being told that the relevant authorities were called in relation to the children and they are now under the guardianship of the Human Services Department until further investigations. In the short video, the man is heard arguing with a woman who is capturing the entire ordeal. It seems he was negating money and that got him irritated, leading to him pushing the child. As we reported earlier this week, the 2023-2024 sugarcane crop season came to an official close on Sunday, July 21st, after a total of 207 days of milling. Despite above-average sugar prices in the global market, our local crop season ended in a less than desirable note following an extra harsh year for the industry. The 2024 crop season was late to fully take off back in January of this year, following the negative effects of climate change and the long-standing impasse between BSI-ASR and the Belize Sugarcane Farmer Association over the signing of a commercial agreement. But if that wasn't enough of a challenge for Belize's premier industry, it also faced several significant pauses throughout the season due mainly to inclement weather conditions. Though the closing crop season saw a rebound in the delivery of cane with over 1 million tons delivered to the mill, the subpar quality of the product made for a less than desirable production year. All this contributed to a significant drop in cane production of 32%. This denotes a major blow to an already struggling industry which continues to be ravaged by climate change as well as internal disputes.
One of our key challenges during this crop, and all farmers, harvesting group leaders will agree with me, was labor shortage. So there was a shortage of cane cutters, unfortunately, and so many of the groups reported, during the high prime time really of harvesting cane, they lost cutters because it's hot. It's really hot at the prime time of harvesting cane. And so one of our main programs this year is recruiting for mechanical harvesting. We are prepared. BSI has been doing mechanical harvesting for cane farmers now 7 years. and for the company over 10 years. So we're well experienced in how we operate the mechanical harvesters. Of course, there are parameters that the fields need to comply, like longer rows, no stones or stumps, and the price compared to manual cutting is cheaper. So depending on the area where the farmers are that cane. So the crop was a tough one. We ended, yes, under weather conditions, which is not the right way to end a crop season. We want to get in the crop early. We want to start early. As you know, we were unable to do that. We started with half the capacity with some of the farmers, but we had the standoff with BSCFA. So we were unable to start early. And now we get into the rainy season, and the mill really is pushed to continue under rainy conditions. That is really bad news for us.
Ending the crop under hostile weather conditions as it did this year, according to cane farmer relations manager Olivia Aviles, spells bad news for the entire industry, particularly the mill.
Mud is a really interesting parameter that we measure during the crop season, and this is something that we talk to the farmers a lot about. A lot of people don't see what happens within the mill and how the mud that comes with cane affects the mill. It's really sandpaper going through the equipment. And this year, unfortunately, we took out almost 50,000 tons of mud. And so if you produce 400 tons of sugar, it's almost half the amount of mud that we take out. And so the mill is not designed to mill mud. The mill is designed to mill fiber and cane and to extract sugar. And so when we have a lot of mud coming in, then it really makes the grinding process more difficult, which means it slows down and it becomes sort of like a little cycle. If the mill slows down, then the farmer's cane sits a little bit longer. And if the farmers continue burning as if though the mill was milling at the capacity, then we have another effect, which is reducing sugars. And reducing sugars, again, it's one of those things that cannot be appreciated from the outside of the mill. Reducing sugars is a type of sugar that cannot be converted into commercial sugar. It's sugar, but it then goes into molasses, and that really takes time to process. And reducing sugars come as a result either of young cane or immature cane. Also, it comes especially when the cane is not fresh. So they burnt it maybe 2-3 days in advance, and then we get it. We have that smell that is very unique of Tower Hill, and it starts to ferment. So that we cannot convert into sugar. And so I think a lot of that contributes to the bad cane quality that we had this year.
With a TCTS of almost 10 this year, meaning that it took almost 10 tons of cane to produce 1 ton of sugar, Caneros can expect a significant blow to the projected price paid per ton of sugar, which is dependent on the quality of cane delivered.
Cane price is still relatively high because the sugar price is relatively high, and we've made some changes to ensure that some of that higher cane price is maintained. However, for every 0.25 TCTS that we went up, we lost $1.47 per ton of cane. And so before the rains, we were at around 9.7 TCTS, and now we are ending at 10. So definitely it has impacted the cane price negatively, ending in such a bad state of cane quality. But the price remains sort of around the same as last year. We do hope that the farmers are able to do their routine maintenance for next year and ensure that they bring in the quality cane next year.
One major concern raised by farmers on an almost annual basis is the factory's inability to mill the projected total of 7,000 tons of cane per day. When questioned about this, Avila specified that the factory's milling rate is dependent on a number of external factors.
The milling rate per day is definitely something that we target, and we try to maintain at around 6,800 to about 7,000. That's the daily grinding rate average. However, at the start of the crop, we had to mill at half of that at about 2 or 3 weeks, and that is because we weren't getting the cane supply that we should have gotten if all 4 associations start. So that is a big factor to the start of crop and the amount of cane that we can mill, which results then at the end on our average rate. We also had critical issues with the power outages that we experienced from BEL. We had major loss time due to that, and what happens is that a lot of our equipment also got damaged. We know at home, if you have those high surges, what happens to your refrigerator, to your TV. And so similar to that, we had quite a bit of those issues that we had to deal with, and contributed to downtime and therefore milling rate. We also had, as I was explaining, the high content of reducing sugars. Reducing sugars takes a lot more time to extract. The system becomes very heavy with syrup, which is a lot more difficult to process than actual sugar. That really contributed to a lot of our slower grinding, and of course mud. Towards the end of the crop, and we always tell farmers this, we prefer to mill under weather conditions at the start of the crop than at the end. At the end, the mill already went through a crop season. Equipment, we know what happens to equipment when it starts to deteriorate. And yes, we were very concerned at the end that, the mill would be compromised and we won't be able to restart towards the end, because running through mud is like sandpaper through the equipment.
Aviles also gave an outlook on the cane which was left behind in the fields this year as the crop came to a close.
Towards the end, we at BSI and invited the SEPC. We did a flyover of the area. So we are cognizant that there is standover cane out there, especially those areas that it started to rain and they couldn't get in. Road access became an issue. Farmers were complaining. Whilst the field was dry, they couldn't get to the fields. Of course, the areas, the lower cane areas would have stayed, and some more cane in areas that farmers could not have access to. So we do understand that there will be some standover cane. We believe it's around 50 to 60,000 tons of cane there around, and that is likely to come in the following crop season at the first trimester of the crop
As the
season.
2024 crop season came to a less than sweet wrap-up brought on by several factors, Olivia Aviles says the manufacturer is ready to work with farmers to increase their yields to the benefit of the entire industry. While the effects of this year's harsh season are expected to linger, Aviles says the mill is working on several projects to help make the industry more viable in the future. The main project being looked at for the upcoming crop season is mechanical harvesting, as farmers once more experience significant drawbacks due to labor shortage.
One of our key challenges during this crop, and all farmers, harvesting group leaders will agree with me, was labor shortage. So there was a shortage of cane cutters, unfortunately, and so many of the groups reported, during the high prime time really of harvesting cane, they lost cutters because it's hot. It's really hot at the prime time of harvesting cane, and so one of our main programs this year is recruiting for mechanical harvesting. We are prepared. BSI has been doing mechanical harvesting for cane farmers now 7 years, and for the company over 10 years. So we're well experienced in how we operate the mechanical harvesters. Of course, there are parameters that the fields need to comply, like longer rows, no stones or stumps, and the price compared to manual cutting is cheaper. So depending on the area where the farmers or the farms are located, then we price those per ton. So we really encourage harvesting group leaders, farmers, to look at the possibility of joining our mechanical harvesting group. We have a plan that we go by, and once we go into those areas, we take out all the cane. Unlike some harvesting group leaders that don't have all the quota at a time to take out all the cane for a farmer, because we are a larger group, we're able to really bring out the cane of cane farmers a lot quicker. So large fields could go in 1-2 days with the harvester. It's more efficient. If it's planned well, the cut is really clean if we are harvesting during optimal weather conditions. And of course, it's cheaper.
The miller is also working on expanding its recently launched AgroPro initiative, which helps farmers with replanting and field maintenance. This project is also being complemented by a project by the 5 Cs worth over $25 million, geared towards the planting of 10,000 acres of cane.
Our AgroPro, where we do ratoon maintenance, primarily fertilizing, pre-emergent weed control, post-emergent weed control, and also we do replanting for farmers. So that has taken way now in the first year, and we're very excited to be able to offer more acreages the coming 2025 crop season. The other program that we are working with all associations on is the building adaptive capacity for small sugarcane farmers. This is a project that the whole industry helped to write for funding to Green Climate Fund, and the 5 Cs is going to be the implementer of that project. 5 Cs is Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, and so they are the NGO that will implement this project. And for that, the key areas in that project are replanting. So it seeks to replant 10,000 acres at a 40% grant. So the farmer that qualifies, or the farmers that qualify, will be given 40% grant to that. At the moment, the first activities is that the NGO 5 Cs is looking for areas to plant the nurseries, the seed cane nurseries, and so with the associations, they are looking at areas where they can plant this. The parameter for that is that it must be an area where it had sugarcane or something else, so no deforestation, please, for those areas. And they are looking for between 20 to 50 acre blocks, so that they plant the seed in preparation for the 10,000 acres that will be planted in 5 years. That's a really important project for our industry, and we really want the associations and farmers to take advantage, because it's $25 million US for the sugar industry.
Climate change also remains one of the most enduring enemies which the industry faces, and so stakeholders are looking at the possible harvesting of different varieties which are adaptive to the negative effects of climate change.
Cane varieties is a critical project for BSI. BSI invests money in research of these varieties since 40 years ago, and to date we have 11 new varieties that are coming out of research and into the commercial where the farmers can access and plant these varieties. There's no one magic bullet for a variety, you have to know where to plant which variety, because the varieties require different soil types, rainfall amounts, and things like that. So we have we are very comfortable that we have a good diversity, a good basket to pick from for our area, which have been validated through the research program. And so, yes, we have varieties that are more drought tolerant, meaning they require less water. Excuse me. And then we have varieties that are more flood tolerant or waterlogging tolerant, because they require more water. So it's really about selecting the variety that suits your area. And the project, the 5Cs project, will utilize some of these varieties for the replanting.
To learn more about any of these projects, Caneros can reach out to BSI ASR for more information. Self-proclaimed journalist Joseph Ryan Budna is tonight once again on the news. This time, however, he is being accused of having a role in the murder of a Guatemalan national living in Belmopan. Budna was today officially arrested and charged with abetment to murder in the matter related to the fatal stabbing of Armando Coy Cacao, which happened 3 years ago in July of 2021. The murder occurred on Saturday, July 24, 2021 on Guyana Street, San Martin area of Belmopan. There, the lifeless body of Armando Cacao was found under a tree with apparent stab wounds to the neck and body. Investigations at the time revealed that Cacao was last seen around 5:30 p.m. on Friday, July 23, 2021, riding his bicycle in the San Martin area. His body was later found by a passerby. Budna was detained in San Ignacio on Wednesday evening prior to being charged today in connection with this murder. Prominent Belize City Attorney O.J. Elingtons had been committed to stand trial at the High Court for rape in the October session. The case stems from an incident in January where Elingtons is accused of bringing 2 women back to his home in Belize City after a night at Thirsty Thursday's nightclub. The women later reported to police that they were sexually assaulted by Elingtons, and they suspect they were drugged, as they could not recall further details of the night. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Sherilyn Vidal, was tasked with deciding whether to formally charge Elingtons. And after an extensive investigation, which included meetings with the victims and further inquiries, Vidal authorized the charge of 1 count of rape against Elingtons on March 7th. Today in court, Elingtons, who is represented by several attorneys, including his father, Senior Counsel Hubert Elingtons, submitted an objection that his constitutional rights for equal representation under the law were violated, since the DPP, contrary to the law, investigated some aspects of the case herself, including interviewing the alleged victims. The senior Elingtons also pointed out that while their information is that a sobriety test was conducted, this was not disclosed nor the results revealed. The DPP in her submissions indicated that she was unaware of any such test being done. Here is what she told reporters after the hearing on that submission.
But this report was made some days after the incident. But this report was made some days after the incident. And so by the time it had come to the attention of the police, it really would not have made much sense. We didn't think that there was any likelihood that he would not have been committed to stand trial.
So now you are accusing there of being both His Majesty's prosecutor and investigator. He said that his rights were breached because you overstepped the boundaries of your office to actually make calls and speak with his accusers. What would you say in response to that? Did you overstep the boundaries?
I most certainly did not, and I would imagine that that is an issue that will be addressed at the High Court. I look forward to it.
Would that happen in conjunction with the actual case itself, or he has to bring an application for that?
You will have to ask the gentleman that question when he comes out.
But might it have the effect of staying the criminal proceeding at the High Court?
It depends on the route that they take.
With Senior Magistrate Arita Ford ruling that the case should go to the High Court, the defense will now prepare to fight their case, including the constitutional violation, says Elington.
The law is very clear on a number of things, right? And she doesn't seem to understand where the law requires her to go.
Because the DPP is saying it's not for the magistrate at this point to put anyone on the stand to decide truthfulness or not.
The DPP has brought a case, right? And her first duty is to show that there's a difference between a crime and a non-crime. And the magistrate must look at it and says, if the evidence discloses a crime or the evidence discloses a non-crime. But she doesn't even understand that that is the duty. So where do you go? You have to go to the High Court.
In relation to abuse of process and the constitutional rights violated, will an application be submitted?
Of course, they will be submitted in due course.
As mentioned, the case will be heard in the October session of the High Court. The Department of the Environment, DOE, within the Ministry of Sustainable Development and Climate Change is strengthening its commitment to environmental stewardship through advancements in its National Air Quality Monitoring Program. The DOE has implemented the passive ambient air quality monitoring programs in Belize City, Orange Walk Town, and Belmopan City to collect baseline data on parameters such as nitrogen oxide, sulfur oxide, and ground level ozone. This year, the passing ambient air quality monitoring program is being implemented in all 6 districts. In 2023, the DOE acquired a dust sentry proactive air quality monitoring equipment, which is a cutting-edge technology installed at its Belmopan City office that monitors particulate matter. Particulate matter is small particles floating in the atmosphere and can cause human-related respiratory issues. Expanding on the program through the support of the United Nations Development Program UNDP Climate Promise Project, the DOE has acquired an Aeroqual AQM65 system that will be installed in the Valley of Peace community to measure particulate matter and key gases such as carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, and sulfur dioxide. This acquisition marks a substantial leap forward in Belize's environmental monitoring capabilities because these systems generate real-time data on a 24-hour basis. The real-time data will be shared with the public through a Belize weather app that will be launched by the National Meteorological Service soon. A training session was held today with key agencies such as the Ministry of Health, Pesticides Control Board, University of Belize, and the National Biodiversity Office on the installation, operation, and maintenance of the Aeroqual AQM65 system. The training will be given by experts from ITS Technologies, the manufacturer of the system, to ensure optimal functionality and reliability. The National Air Quality Monitoring Program, through active and passive monitoring, will provide necessary information for the DOE to inform the public and key decision makers with relevant information on ambient air quality to protect human health and ecosystems function. The information will be particularly useful during periods of heavy smoke which affect various districts during the dry season. This effort is aligned with Goal 8, Target 8 of Belize's National Environmental Action Plan, aiming to establish a comprehensive ambient air quality monitoring network by 2026. Coming up next, 20 young Orange Kenyans complete Lead Like a Girl coding summer camp.
Snackers chips are more than just a snack. They're a proud product of Belize. sourced from corn grown in Cayo's lush valleys, then crafted with care and packaged to perfection by Belizeans. When you choose Snackers, you're choosing the taste of home and flavors you'll love. Snackers, done right, done here.
Close to 20 young girls from across Orange Walk Town today completed a 2-week coding summer camp launch through the Lead Like a Girl campaign in collaboration with Orange Walk East Area Representative Honorable Kevin Bernard and Councillor Dorette Pascasio. Lead Like a Girl is a campaign launched by the 501 Academy through the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology in April of this year as part of the celebration of Girls in Information and Communication Technology ICT Day. Lead Like a Girl seeks to increase awareness about the field of ICT and ultimately increasing the number of women and girls in the ICT field in Belize. At its core is creating an equal playing field for girls to thrive and succeed in the male-dominated field of ICT.
In the fourth Thursday of April of every year, we celebrate International Girls in ICT Day. We've done, the Science and Technology Unit at the Ministry is pretty new. For the past 2 years, we've been doing one-day events where we bring 100 girls from around the country into one location and we do a fun day with them. But this year, when we were planning for our activity, we decided that we need to do more than just a one-day thing, you know. So International Girls in ICT Day is celebrated to address the gender gap, right? Because there is a gender imbalance in the ICT field. It is a male-dominated field, not just in Belize, around the world. And so we said if we do a one-day thing, we inspire these girls, but then that's it. So we need to do something ongoing to keep them interested, and also the girls that we could not tap into, right? And so what we did this year is we launched a pledge, the Lead Like a Girl pledge. And so we divided it into 3 different pillars, so how you could expose girls to ICT, encourage girls in ICT, and then support girls in ICT. Each of the pillars is divided by the 4 C's, so how you could do it from your couch, your community, your company, and your country, so everyone can play a part. We have something for expose girls in ICT from your couch by just sharing a post. So literally just sharing a post is you helping us and you pledging to expose girls to ICT.
First held in the Cayo district, the coding workshop was brought to Orange Walk Town with the vision of encouraging our young girls to take on challenges and pursue their ambitions in the ICT field.
Orange Walk heard about it and they pledged, and so we just finished 2 weeks here by Councillor Dorette and Teacher Dorette. We're at Louisiana. Orange Walk heard about it and they pledged, and so we just finished 2 weeks here by Councillor Dorette and Teacher Dorette. We're at Louisiana Government School, and we're moving on to San Esteban and Orange Walk Town next week. So, you know, we're just excited, and that's one way to show that it really takes everyone to play a part. We did focus on girls between the ages of 11 to 13, so before they enter high school, to, you know, try to peak them. We did 2 weeks of the code.org, says the facilitator focused on 2 different courses where they understood the logic and what the course entails. We keep telling parents today, like we mentioned, that coding is more than just writing lines of code behind a computer. It teaches you logic, computational skills, critical thinking, and it's skills that can be transferable in any field that you go. A lot of them, we were surprised that it was their first time actually using a computer. And so we started off with day 1 just teaching them about being safe on the internet, how to protect your passwords, what information you should share, what information you should not share. And then a lot of them didn't know, you know, where the keys are, you know, getting them acquainted with the laptop for day 1. And then starting off with the courses, we started off at the basics because we realized that their level was very basic. Just trying to put a strong foundation. So they started learning things like loops, how events work, and they started learning about, you know, we did there's something called a pair programming, so where we have one person play the robot and then the other one is the computer. the person, the robot and the computer, and so you go and you enter code and you realize that the computer will do exactly what you enter. So trying for them to start thinking, problem solving. So it was very, very fun. These girls are already coming back and asking if they could join the courses that we're having. We're like, it'll be the same thing, but hopefully we get to come back.
The Lead Like a Girl campaign is an ongoing venture by the ministry, and together as a community, it believes we can foster a culture of inclusivity, risk-taking, and resilience to encourage our young girls to lead with confidence, empowerment, and willingness.
We're asking everyone to go into the 501 Academy, 501academy.edu.bz, or just Google Lead Like a Girl Belize and it should pop up. Right there we have the pledges. We have the 3 pillars. You can go and register your pledge. And then we have and if you need extra collaboration, if you want to pledge and you don't know, so we have a company that reached out. They want to, for support, you can sponsor a girl in ICT, you could buy them a device. So we have a company who reached out and said they want to, but they want to make sure that the student is going. So then that's where we work with the tertiary institution to see which girls are, to make sure that they are enrolled in ICT, so that the company can, help with that. So we're just saying, if you need anything, you can contact us through the 501. For youngsters, you could reach us on DM and Instagram or on Facebook. We answer, throughout the social media.
Similar workshops will be hosted in the community of San Esteban and in Orange Walk Town in early August. Not even the pouring rain could dampen the mood as thousands of athletes and spectators alike gathered in Paris to kick off the 2024 Summer Olympics opening ceremony today. The spectacle was the first Olympic ceremony to be held outside a stadium and featured several nods to French culture and performances by Lady Gaga and Mali-born French singer Aya Nakamura. The opening ceremony, which was expected to be the largest in Olympic history, both in geographical coverage and in number of viewers, began with a plume of blue, white, and red smoke before each delegation began floating along the Seine River, waving flags to the crowds gathered around the river bank. An estimated 10,500 athletes floated along an almost 4-mile route in almost 100 boats, passing several Olympic venues along the way, including the La Concorde Urban Park and the Grand Palais. Over 300,000 spectators were able to watch the ceremony from the banks of the Seine, with giant screens set up throughout the city for viewers across Paris. Among these athletes was Belize's only representative, Sean Gill, who's participating in the 100-meter, which gets underway with the preliminary round on Saturday, August 3rd. As Belize's sole athlete and flag bearer, Gill proudly waved the Belizean flag from one of the boats with the backdrop of Paris's iconic Renaissance archaeological landmarks. At one point, Gill had to wear a transparent raincoat to ward off the rain, but he never stopped waving the Belizean flag. Gill is accompanied by Kojak Smith, president of the Belize Athletics Association, and Giovanni Alamia, Belize's head of mission. Of note is that this is Gill's second Olympic participation, having previously competed in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, where he clocked 10.88 seconds in the preliminary round. He also competed in the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon in the United States in 2022, where he clocked 10.77 seconds. The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing, through its construction contractor for the Corozal-Sartoneja Road Upgrading Project, OECC, informs the general public that 5 extremely heavy 115 feet long bridge beams will be transported from Ladyville to Corozal on the Philip Golson Highway, the Orange Walk Bypass, the San Esteban Road, the San Esteban Progreso Road, and the Corozal Progreso Road during the course of the days between Wednesday, the 31st of July, and Thursday, the 8th of August, 2024. The public is advised to be vigilant and exercise extreme caution when approaching and navigating past the heavy equipment transporting these reinforced concrete beams. Drivers are asked to follow traffic warnings and the instructions of escorts at all times, as these beams may take up the entire width of the highway. Motorists and pedestrians are advised to give a wide berth and space while passing through villages and populated centers. We would like to thank the general public for their kind cooperation in respecting and abiding by these safety precautions and by exercising due care and attention when encountering these extraordinary loads on the highway. The Carrizal Sports Council is hosting a 6-week Mundialito tournament engaging our young athletes in the sport that reunites millions of fanatics around the world. The event is being carried out in partnership with the Carrizal Football Association under the sponsorship of the newly appointed Consulate of Belize to Mexico in Chetumal.
Park. All the teams will have their country's jersey, they will have their flag. We're gonna come walk all the way on the front street by Atlantic, then we're gonna come to Civic where the games will start. We'll start with the U10 category first, and after lunch we're gonna continue with the U13. Our head referee will be the famous Mr. Clavel from Carrizal. Well-known gentleman, well-respected and well experienced in this.
Do you think that it's going to be a success? What are people supposed to be expecting in the first matches that will be happening tomorrow? And why is that parents should take out more children to come and rally behind their friends?
Yeah. Big success. This thing is big. The children are so excited when they meet me on the street. So, Mr. Abner, when would it start? When would it start? Will it start such a date, such a date? Well, will it start tomorrow? And everybody excited. I see them working out. I see them in the streets going up and down to the fields and back. The coaches, they're excited. We went over the rules and regulations. And I asked the parents to please, control their emotions. Remember that we're dealing with kids, and it's a development program. And what we show them is what they will learn.
A referee will be installed for all the games. Players will not be carded, but parents are asked to showcase sportsmanship. Referee Israel Clavel, who is contracted for the game, says he is looking forward at assisting young athletes that can become part of the Belize Football Federation and one day represent the Jewel in international matches.
El punto más importante que yo voy a tener allá es enseñarle a los niños que el fútbol tiene reglas también que hay que cumplir, aunque no se les va a aplicar las reglas como se le aplican ya a unos jugadores ya mayores de edad, pero se les va a enseñar que cuando cometen algún error en la cancha se les va a explicar que no lo deben de hacer. No se les va a dar a los U10, no se les va a dar nada de tarjeta, pero se les va a ir explicando, porque para eso estamos nosotros, para explicarles las reglas de que deben de practicar en el fútbol, ¿no? Entonces, en ese motivo es que ellos van a ir creciendo ya, aprendiendo cómo deben de jugar también el fútbol.
The Carrizal Sports Council reminds players that bullying will not be tolerated. This action can lead to an immediate expulsion. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Win big with Centaur. As a valued customer, we're showing our appreciation for your continued loyalty with an incredible promotion. Update your account and receive one ticket to win $1,000 cash towards your child's education expenses. Get an extra ticket for every month you pay in advance. One lucky winner for each of our 3 branches will receive $1,000 cash. Drawing date September 6 on the Despierta Belize morning show. Don't miss this opportunity to secure your child's education. Update your account now. Start earning those entry tickets and win big with Centaur.
In accordance with the Fisheries Resources Sea Cucumber Regulations Statutory Instruments number 67 of 2009 and 107 of 2022, the Fisheries Department announces that the sea cucumber fishery will officially open on September 1st, 2024. The season will run until January 31st, 2025, or until the catch quota is reached, whichever comes first. To ensure the sustainability and long-term viability of the sea cucumber fishery, all fishers with valid commercial fishing licenses are required to follow new regulations. Only those with valid licenses are permitted to fish for sea cucumbers during this period, and fishing must occur within their authorized areas as specified on their individual licenses. Fishers are allowed to harvest only the donkey dong, Holaturia mexicana sea cucumber. Additionally, all sea cucumbers must measure at least 16 centimeters, 6.3 inches in length when removed from the scene. Harvested sea cucumbers must be landed at designated sites, which will be announced at a later date. The approved exporters for the season are Rio Grande Fishermen, Cooperative Society Limited, Rosendo Casanova, Belize Ocean Catch Limited, and Zhang Imports. Fishing vessel owners and captains are required to maintain a catch log record and submit this data to the Fisheries Department at the end of each fishing trip. All other fisheries regulations remain applicable throughout this season. The Veterinary Association of Belize, VAP, issued a warning to dog owners of significant increase in parvovirus cases among dogs in Belize in a press release on Wednesday. Veterinary clinics across the country are reporting a surge in cases, including among particularly vaccinated dogs, which is unusual for this time of year. Canine parvovirus infection is a highly contagious and potentially fatal disease. While all dogs are susceptible to canine parvovirus, some dogs are at a greater risk than others, the VAP said. These include puppies between 6 and 20 weeks of age, unvaccinated or incompletely vaccinated dogs, and certain breeds such as Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Doberman Pinschers, and Bull Terrier. Dog owners are urged to ensure their pets are vaccinated against parvo. The VAP emphasizes the importance of following a proper vaccination schedule and purchasing vaccines from authorized veterinary clinics. The VAP also said that parvo vaccines are registered in Belize by the Belize Agricultural Health Authority, BAHA, and are sold by prescription only. This is to ensure that vaccine quality is maintained, especially the cold chain, and that vaccination is properly managed with proper clinical examination, vaccine administration, and schedule and follow-up. For more information, dog owners are encouraged to contact their local registered veterinarian. According to the VAP, the Mexican state of Yucatan has also reported an increase in parvovirus cases. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, July 29th, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.